Today on Upfront, Wisconsin's race for governor, jobs, plans, and promises. We take the pulse of the race right now with our political panel. John Nichols, associate editor of the Capital Times, and Christian Schneider, columnist for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Then the political newcomer hoping to unseat one of the longest-serving elected officials in the state. And we've got big transportation needs in Wisconsin, but are the state's priorities backwards?
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. We begin today with the race for governor, quite possibly the most watched race for governor in the country. Recent polls have shown Republican incumbent Scott Walker and Democratic challenger Mary Burke in a statistical dead heat with fewer than 6 weeks before the election. And tomorrow, some big names are coming in to campaign for them. First Lady Michelle Obama will be in Milwaukee with Burke, while New Jersey Republican Governor Chris Christie appears in Hudson with Walker. We're talking now about the sprint to the finish line with our pundit panel, Christian Schneider, columnist for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and John Nichols, associate editor of the Capital Times and correspondent for The Nation. Gentlemen, good to have you back on the program.
It's great to be here.
I'm going to begin with Christian because you wrote a column about the Mary Burke jobs plan flap.
Yes.
And this is but the fact that she copied her campaign copied certain parts of other candidates' plans. You call this a catastrophe for Burke. That's a pretty strong word. Why do you say that?
Well, it's certainly been a catastrophe in the way that she's handled it so far. I mean, there are a couple things. Plagiarism is one thing, and you know there are people that have had plagiarism scandals that have lived through it. Our vice president had a scandal, and he survived it. But the real problem for her, I think, is the timing of it. I mean, for a lot of these guys, it's something that happened in college, but this happened essentially on her job application to be governor of the state of Wisconsin. So I think the timing right now is really bad for her. Also, I think it reinforces some already existing preconceptions of her campaign, or of her, and that is a campaign really that doesn't have a whole lot of ideas. I mean, when you essentially have to outsource your jobs plan to a third-party vendor, I mean, that doesn't look good as far as your jobs plan goes.
You use the word inauthentic to describe.
Yeah, and then now she's saying that, you know, she spent hundreds of hours putting this thing together. I mean, come on. It really looks bad, and she's handling it poorly, and I think it's going to have an effect.
John Nichols, for the Burke campaign, they have spent more than a week now trying to knock down this story or put out the fire. But beyond that, does it do any serious damage to her campaign?
I think if we're honest about it, we have to recognize that Mary Burke is still somebody getting identified, being introduced to Wisconsin even at this late stage. And so a week spent on something like this can't be helpful. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, it's like Scott Walker's had a year of bad headlines about investigations into wrongdoing. Each of them have their problems. Here's the challenge. I think that Christian gets to something. The actual drawing together of the information in a jobs plan, I mean, I'm shocked to hear that politicians borrow ideas from other places. But I think that could have been answered by saying, look, you know, we shouldn't have done that, or we should have done better, it's disappointing, whatever. The ongoing back and forth about it is problematic. And if the Burke campaign doesn't put it to rest pretty soon, I think that's troublesome. But I will say this. Scott Walker has outsourced his entire governorship to right-wing think tanks in Washington and New York. The notion that Scott Walker is some sort of original thinker spending real time coming up with Wisconsin-rooted, Wisconsin-based ideas is comic. And so what we have here is, just as the Walker campaign a while back tried to attack on Burke as regards Trek, and then ended up having that come back at them, I think Governor Walker should be a little careful about trying to sell himself as a man of original ideas, because there's no evidence that his austerity agenda is original.
Real briefly, does this matter more to voters at this stage than, does a jobs plan matter more than a jobs performance report card?
That's an excellent question, Mike. Thank you for asking. I will think about it now. You know, this is the big news of the week. I think she's got to get something out there soon. You'll probably see her hit back soon and try to change the subject as soon as possible, I think.
You think it matters more to people?
I sure hope that the job performance matters more. Because, again, I've covered campaigns for way too long. And I have to say, I have seen just about every campaign I've ever dealt with that was at least a viable one, taken ideas from all sorts of places. The real question is one of implementation. And I think if the discussion goes to Scott Walker's implementation of the ideas he borrowed from people in Washington and New York and other places, and Europe for their European austerity plans, I think then perhaps that doesn't help him so much, because the implementation has not been good.
Let me talk about where this campaign goes in the final weeks, Christian. Where do you see this going? Where are the Walker folks going to be? What are they going to attempt to message here in the last few weeks?
What I think you're going to see is kind of a return to the recall, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Scott Walker won the recall in large part because the rhetoric against Act 10 was so over the top. It was so ridiculous that he was able to sit there and say, look, I'm here, I'm in control. The one thing the Democrats have done, I think, really well in the last year has been really calm about things, and the state has kind of reverted back to the 50-50 state that we know, where, you know, Barack Obama won by 7 percentage points. Now you're starting to see, you know, some of the, I mean, Scott Walker's like catnip to some of these people. They just cannot help themselves. Debbie Wasserman Schultz shows up, says he's giving women the back of his hand. They're filing OSHA complaints over his TV ads. I mean, the NEA says they're his #1 target. You know, other national unions are saying that, you know, they've got a score to settle with him and things like that. So I think you're going to start to see a lot of that come back. And I think that's actually going to be bad for Democrats, because it's going to remind people, oh yeah, these are like the recall days. This is what we remember.
He's talking about ratcheting up the intensity in the final weeks. Is that a good thing for Democrats, or is it a good thing for Republicans?
Ratcheting up the intensity is good in general. We need high turnout elections. The higher the turnout, the better. I would even try to make elections, I'd actually try to make it easy to vote. But I do think that what we're talking about here is a situation where Wisconsin is going to have an intense gubernatorial election, perhaps, as you suggested in your intro, the most intense or most focused on one in the country. And yeah, you'll have some of the return of the battle lines of 2012, even 2010. But one of the things, if you recall, in the recall election, Scott Walker went on television and had one of his final ads was, he says, "I've got news, it's working," right? His big, frankly, I might replay that ad. And just say, you know, in 2012, Governor Walker, you said it's working. You presented a notion that, you know, things were really coming together and it was just going to be great. We're 2 years further on. There's an awful lot of evidence that it isn't working. And so if you want to rerun the recall election, that's fine. But if you want to run an election in 2014, you really ought to look at the numbers now. And the numbers now aren't very good. So that's the real test. I think Christian's exactly right. If you kind of push it back to 2 years ago, right, you have advantages for the governor. If you move it to a contemporary discussion, and that's a great challenge for Burke and the Democrats, I think they're advantaged by that progression of time.
I got 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Well, the Marquette poll shows that a lot of people, about 60% of the people are concerned about Walker's, you know, jobs plan and his promise, but he's still ahead in the polls. So, you know, we'll see.
We will see. Another poll coming out on Wednesday, we should point out. John Nichols from the Cap Times, Christian Schneider from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. It's good to see you guys again. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Coming up next on Up Front, we'll introduce you to the political newcomer hoping to unseat Wisconsin's veteran Secretary of State. And later, Wisconsin's critical transportation needs. Are we planning for the future or the past? That's when Up Front continues.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by American Transmission Company.